So how does this literacy fit into the Wisconsin Information and Technology Literacy Standards? Well, if we take a look at expectation number 6 in the area of literacy, it has a direct link to the Wisconsin Digital Literacy Plan. So Wisconsin's DPI Department of Literacy sees the importance of using technology and digital media when instructing literacy. So what specific standards could be tied to this literacy? Wisconsin adopted the ISTE student standards in 2016. So one of the ISTE student standards that has a direct tie to this literacy is being a digital citizen. When being a digital citizen, we must help teach our students how to recognize their own biases, but at the same time, teach them how to listen to other perspectives in a respectful manner. We also need to teach students how to identify if something is fake or untrue, and that we have a moral duty to point it out and to rectify that mistake. Lastly, we need to teach students to become empowered upstanders, teaching them how to block, flag, or report inaccurate content. Another ISTE standard that connects to this literacy is knowledge constructor. And this is how we gather and interpret information for creation. We must teach students to learn a Google search could produce biased results, and that we should use other resources such as Google Scholar or other databases, and we need to teach them to learn how to spot fake websites. In order to do that, students need to learn how to critique URLs and to be able to go back to a source of study when referenced, and learn how to fact check using tools such as Snoop or factcheck.com. The last standard that ties into this literacy is being a global collaborator. And this is ways we can connect globally. We want to teach students to use digital tools to enrich their learning by collaborating and working with others. Not even just individuals in their own environment, but even those who are virtually outside of their classroom environment. Also, when students are researching about a topic, we want them to be able to seek out experts in the community or others online with the knowledge of that area of study and be able to gather information from those experts. And lastly, we need to listen to other perspectives besides our own viewpoints to become critical thinkers. So what is one way you can teach some aspect of this literacy to students? One way is to teach students about fake news. And yes, even students at the 5th grade level can be taught this. And this is where I would use this lesson for 5th graders. And it's important here to tell them that 3 in every 4 students can't tell the difference between real and fake news on social media. And that is a quote from NPR in 2016. So what I have done with students is I have defined the term fake news for them, letting them know fake news are not news articles that look real, but are not true. I also like to introduce students to John Spencer's 5 C's of critical consuming: content, credibility, construction, collaboration, and compare. I also like students to explore various fake websites like abcnews.com.com. Also, I like to provide students with resources where they can cross-check the information to see if it's inaccurate or not, using snoop.com or factcheck.org. And lastly, I kind of created a game called Fact or Fiction, where students determine if an article is real or not. And they take a look at the fake websites, but they also use Snoops and Fact Check to double check to see if it's fact or fiction, and they needed to tell me why. And lastly, I thought it would be kind of neat to create a Snoop badge and present it to students when they spot fake news while researching so that they can explain why. And ironically, I tell my students that it's important to teach their parents about these resources and tools as well. so that they can be more consumed readers online. Another way of teaching this literacy to students is integrating Stuart Selberg's multi-literacies for digital age with graphic novels. What I would do is introduce students to Epic, Overdrive, and BookFlix to read graphic novels online. I would also select one graphic novel in Epic, Overdrive, and BookFlix as your mentor text, and discuss with students the functionality features of each tool. If the content can be read aloud to them, can they highlight? Are they able to see, turn the pages nicely? And then after reading each mentor text, discuss the limitations of the tool. So they're comparing and contrasting 3 different online platforms to use. And then finally ask the question, why this platform? We would dive even deeper by having students discuss the following questions as well. How does the digital graphic novel use sound, videos, and colors? How is the digital graphic novel different than its printed counterpart? How do you engage with digital text compared to printed text? And that's something that students need to really focus on. How do they go about reading when they read print, and how do they go about reading when they read a digital text? And lastly, have students reflect on the mentor text's author's style of writing and technique, and give students an opportunity to create their own graphic novel using some of the following platforms like Comic Book, Strip Designer, Superhero Comic Book Maker, or Make Believe Comics. So to conclude, we're going to sum up the final takeaways. First of all, one of the takeaways I have from doing all this research on digital literacies is that it's more than using technology. That digital literacy is really the ability to use technology to locate, evaluate, utilize, and create information. Another takeaway is library media technology specialists need to be advocates for teaching digital literacy within our schools and districts, and we need to reach out to our staff and provide them with support, and also help to team teach in the curriculum, in the core curriculum, using the digital literacies. And a third takeaway is the digital divide has the potential to impact our students, which could lead to the lack of skills needed for our future workforce. And lastly, that we must embed the ISTE student standards into our instruction so we can create well-rounded individuals who are open to various perspectives and know how to verify material posted on social media or the internet for accuracy. And I just want to leave you with one final thought. And it is this quote that I felt was so profound. Given the importance of fostering literate 21st century citizens, it is vital for educators to rethink their instruction to align with digital literacy requirements and students' literacy practices. After all, these are our current students in the classroom. We need to adapt to them and their educational needs.